Hello, my name is Vekran. I'm an Earth Angel, Chosen One, Lightworker, Starseed, sent from heaven to raise the vibration of humanity. And I just want to give a quick summary of my story. So essentially, I was born in June, and essentially I was raised by a natural witch, and I had an evil twin sister, and a narcissist energy vampire, uh, a witch mother who was essentially demon controlled by an entity, an external entity, and essentially this evil system, this evil Illuminati pyramid scheme scam system that's ran by witches, warlocks. It's controlled by witches, warlocks, and wizards who are controlled by demons who work for Satan, the devil. And essentially, he's a real entity. And this evil system knew what I was when I was born. And essentially, it knew from the energy, because everything's energy, vibration, and frequency. And essentially, everyone's giving off energy. And everyone either gives off shadow energy or light energy, and they conflict. And some people can hide their energy. They mask them. Those are the energy vampires that are controlled by demons that feed off of energy. They feed off people's energy. Essentially, the system is ran by these people. And essentially, they're people who follow shadow, and essentially they're all confused because they're following dark. Because they're in the shadow. They follow shadow, so they're in the dark. So they get confused because there's no light, because they can't see. But since I'm pure light, I see everything. Because I'm a channel directly to source. And essentially my whole life, I've followed my heart chakra and was guided throughout my life to learn, to go through different experiences of suffering, to learn different things, to learn all the things I learned to become who I am today. Essentially, the system saw that I was different, and I was a chosen one of God. So essentially, it attacked me, and essentially my whole life I was attacked and tormented by people, put down, isolated, rejected, humiliated, and this is like I had no friends like basically for a long time. And it's okay, it made me more powerful, but the point is, I'm just telling you my story that it was hard for me to make money and hard for me to get ahead because the system was trying to always sabotage me. And I was gang stalked because I noticed when I said stuff online about anti-Illuminati stuff or talking about the truth, that's when I started noticing my bad luck. It's like the system I triggered something in the algorithm, and the government systems, they saw, hey, this guy's one of these people that sees truth, so we have to like suppress him. Essentially, I was suppressed my whole life and essentially broken down, but I kept fighting and talking truth on my other YouTube channel for years and years and years, for like 7 years. And essentially, eventually, how should I say this? Eventually, I came to work at I worked at many different jobs, but it was always like a cycle because I was stuck in a generational curse. So I had a generational curse under my life. And essentially, I was doomed to never succeed unless I joined the Freemasons. I don't know if I said that already. Essentially, but they're evil, so I never did. And basically, people thought I was strange because everyone in the system is following a wicked system. So, yeah. And how else should I say this? So essentially, what happened was eventually, years later, I found myself working in a psychedelic dispensary. And basically, I learned that I had already learned about these witches and warlocks and wizards that had ran society. But essentially, I learned that this psychedelic dispensary was like a ground level for the Illuminati. And that they used psychedelic drugs and drug culture to actually influence the population, to believe in a one world monistic type of thinking, that we are all one, we are all God, we are all energy, we're all connected, and we are to a sense, but we're actually all different. We're all different people, we're all unique individuals, and that we're not God, that God is separate from man, and that he created us. But essentially the system wants to make you think that you are God and that we're all one, because evil, the system is controlled by evil, and it wants you to combine with it. But essentially what I learned is I had no idea about energy. I had no idea my whole life about energy. And my whole life, I was absorbing negative energy from the world, from the toxic environment that I lived in, from the toxic people that were around me, from the toxic workplaces that I was attracted to. Because as a light worker, you're always attracted to negative places. You're always attracted to evil because it's like negative, positive attract. And also, light is always curious about evil. It's always wondering why it would be like that. It always wants to learn and see and expose it and shine its light bright. Because that's what I do. Whenever I meet people, usually they act nice in the beginning, but usually they act like a dick after. Right after, they start feeling uncomfortable because I shine bright my energy and it reveals stuff about them that is shit, to be honest. And essentially, I'm a pure-hearted individual. I'm connected to source, and I'm not perfect by any means, but essentially my energy, my magnetic attraction is very powerful and big. But people who knew about energy, they saw this and they manipulated me my whole life, and they triggered me. They used my emotions to trigger me. They saw that I could get angry easily. They did things to control me. And essentially my whole life I was walking, it was like a cycle. I'd go to a workplace, everyone would hate me, I'd leave. I'd work at a workplace, same thing. Nothing would happen, nothing would change my life. I'd stay in the same place. My life wasn't improving, so I'd leave. It's like I felt like the company was stealing from me. Because eventually I learned that they were. Every place that takes your energy, every place that doesn't give you value, that is constantly like a leech parasiting off of you, taking your money, is not worth investing in or keeping as an asset. It's just a parasite. So you have to find companies that give you value. It's like a fair trade, right? But places that, if you work for a place that you worked there for years and nothing's changing, it's not it's not because you're wasting your money. It's because this place is keeping you lower. Because everything is energy. Essentially, I learned that this Illuminati cult of wizards, witches, and warlocks, it was like a coven of witches and warlocks. Essentially, they were trying to, firstly, they were kind of testing my energy and seeing if I could change and believe their nonsense. And literally everyone there was trying to convert me and make me believe lies about reality. And essentially, I was learning about sorcery, which is essentially psychedelics use. And essentially, I was going to the spiritual realm and learning things about reality and doing healing and going inward and introspecting. And essentially, I learned so much about reality, magic, and energy from these witches and warlocks. And essentially, I became a master wizard. And now I'm a master of reality. And I know everything about a lot about human health now, and a lot about energy. And essentially, all our whole lives, we absorb energy into our core. And essentially, these evil witches and warlocks and wizards, they essentially project the energy or do witchcraft to you. And essentially, since I was talking about energy is so important, like example, your boss is evil, you should not work for him. Don't work for evil people if you conflict energetically, because then you're never gonna get ahead. This person's gonna take from you always, because they're all against you. So if you work for someone who's energetically against you, spiritually against you, they're gonna take from you, take. So you have to separate yourself from the system, and you have to trust in God/source, whatever you want to call him, and live in faith and over fear and trust. And know that you have to know, not believe, know. I know it's really hard, but it's going to be a process, but just be guided. Ask the universe. But essentially, I learned about how these witches and warlocks, essentially they have knowledge about energy and the occult and how to read energy, and they know about tarot, like they use tarot cards to read people's energy and see into the future, and essentially they do manipulations. Not all tarot card people are evil, bad, but I'm saying that people who are in the occult, they're usually raised a specific way, and essentially they don't know anything about love, and they don't follow that because they are people who take energy. They want to manipulate and get as much energy and power for themselves. And essentially, I learned that they actually give all the men in our society, in developed nations, something called the witch's knot. And this might, if you can try it now if you want to see if you have it, but essentially you go like this, you go and spit like, and you don't spit, but you go like, that T noise, that you press into that and you hold it and you push into it and you try to hold it and push it as hard as you can. And I literally just took it out of me the other day, so I'm really sore right now. A couple of days ago I took it out, so I'm really recovering right now. And I had to stay home and eat healthy and massage my whole body. But essentially, your body is like a onion. Essentially, they damage us deep in our core when we're young. They traumatize us throughout the system. People around you who are in the occult, family members who are not for you, essentially they all attack you, and essentially they hurt you and traumatize you, and essentially you get a deep pain in your stomach. And if you feel it, this pain controls you. And essentially these people know that every human is trying to get comfortable because of this pain. And essentially you're controlled by this pain. You're controlled by the witch's knot. That's deep in your core. That if you feel it, no matter what you do, no matter what you massage, no matter what exercise you do, I've done it. I'm a martial arts instructor, and I'm a health coach, fitness trainer, and I couldn't get mass like for the longest time, and now I'm getting it now because I actually took the shit out of my body. And essentially these assholes in society who they know about fitness and stuff like that, they're essentially like high level warlocks. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger is like a wizard or something. Essentially, but I think they don't have the full picture because essentially eventually they get back pain. Essentially they're all controlled too because society is controlled by witches, and the women are in control, not the men. Every man you see has the witch's knot, unless they've woken up. But how you free yourself from the witch's knot is use a combination of sound healing, which is going to be like singing bowls, tuning forks, natural healing frequencies and harmonies, bells ringing. Bells ringing is really important. Also, you use that also in combination with Reiki healing. So online, I like Healing and Beyond. He's one of my favorite because I feel like he has the most spiritual protection, because this is a very spiritual thing you're fighting. You're fighting literally energetic attachments that are attached to your body. That you're always going to be in pain because there are these people in the spiritual realm who attach cords to you, or they send entities to attach to you physically. They're literally hovering behind you, and you have to like cut them, energetic cords. But essentially, you'll never be free of the pain until you get rid of the witch's knot. And essentially, you're going to do also you need to consume a bunch of psychedelics. So you need to find a shaman, and in the ceremony they get you to drink a tea, and they do all the stuff I'm doing. They do like the combination of prayer, because prayer is the most important. I find praying to God of the Bible is the best, but if you find a shaman, they do praying. The natives of the land, they do prayer. They pray to something. And I'm sure that God, even though they're praying to spirits and stuff, I'm sure God, he loves everyone, and he will help people who call upon, right, him, right? And I think Jesus Christ is the ultimate spirit guide. But essentially, you put on these videos all around you, different videos on screens, and you pound it onto you, and you consume a bunch of psychedelics, and then essentially you go into the spiritual realm for like about 5 hours. Essentially, you're gonna start throwing up this fucking knot in your stomach, and essentially it's like energy. Essentially, how they do it is essentially our food is so important because, like I said, where you work is important, where you live is important. If it's toxic, who you're around is important. If they're against you, then you have to run away from them, because if they make you feel uncomfortable in any way, they're against you spiritually. If they take away your peace in any way, or if they make you uncomfortable, bad vibes, bad feeling, or if they try to control you, or anything that takes away your peace, or anything of confusion, anyone that comes to you and is saying something like, hey, are you coming Wednesday? And you're like, no, Thursday. What the fuck? This person's fucking confused, and they're part of the other side, the shadow side that's confused, that follows shadow and darkness, and they don't know where they're going because they're lost. But essentially, you find a shaman in the ceremony. They're gonna, like, if you go to Brazil, you drink ayahuasca. You can probably find someone who does that in your local area, but finding a shaman who knows what they're doing and who's a good person, because you don't want someone in the spiritual realm who's evil over you, right? But essentially, you're gonna throw up and release all these attachments and cut these cords. And essentially, this evil cult of witches and warlocks that control us, they essentially use pain and fear to control us. And essentially, this Illuminati cult is the most scared of everything, because they're scared of death, because they fear the infinite cycle of birth, life, death, and reincarnation, when really that's not the truth. It's actually the beginning of time, God, and end of time, God, and you have to trust in him. But they want to break the cycle because they fear death. But death is natural. You have to go through death to live forever, because death is part of life. It's like trying to skip the last level of a video game. Death is part of life, and I trust God over man.